What is up, people? This is your boy, Bread Like a King, made as Kelvin Cayley, and we are live at 6:05 Eastern for you hardcore wrestling fans. That is a reference. So, welcome back to a brand new weekly show of Wrestling with Our Thoughts or Wrestling with My Thoughts. This is your host, Bread Like a King, made as Kelvin Cayley, and we have a pretty quick show for you guys today. So, you see me trying out new stuff. I actually tried to switch the background up, add the green screen. Royal failure, by the way. We are still learning. We are still growing. So bear with me as I muck up as much as I can. So you guys can have a better show coming from your boy. So shout out to everybody that's paying attention. Shout out to everybody in the group. Thank you for joining. We have a couple of new viewers in the group. Thank you guys for joining. For all the guys that are watching on YouTube, or we'll get this later on YouTube, if you catch this, like, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, share this. You know what I mean? We are still growing. This is the genesis of what Wrestling with My Thoughts will be. You guys are seeing the skeleton being built, literally. This is the skeleton being built. So without further ado, let's shout out the sponsors. We have Get the Plug, which if you enter in code INT, go to www.gettheplugs.com. Enter in code INT15 for a 15% discount. For all my musicians out there, go to audioswim.com. Get your audio right. $5 a track. If you're doing albums, they're doing short ass albums now. So for about $35, $40, you can get your album played. You don't have to pay it again. It's a one-time fee. So go get right at Audio Swim. And if you do need representation, we got PremierElement.com there to represent you. So welcome, guys, to the show. This is Wrestling with My Thoughts on the DFPN, the Dat Feeling Podcast Network. And we do have a Patreon as well. Go to patreon.com, and it's patreon.com/Dat Feeling Podcast. Oh, yeah, we also have a merch store that we are populating, and that is at teespring.com/store/Dat Feeling Podcast. So get with us, help us out, donate to your boys. You know what I'm saying? Donate, help us in any way that you can. So without further ado, let's get into the show. Right. So we had a pretty big week in wrestling. We had the NXT TakeOver 31, which was highly successful, highly entertaining by WWE standards. This is, I think, one of the better pay-per-views of the year was on WWE Network. Capped off with a great match between Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly of Undisputed Era. This match was a barn burner. And if you missed it, please go to the WWE Network. It's streaming on the WWE Network, which you can get for $9.99. I don't even know why I'm plugging them, but go to WWE Network and get this match, get this pay-per-view. There was a whole lot of things to come out of it that set up some good things that on NXT this week. We also had in the AEW world, we had the 30th anniversary of Chris Jericho and his wrestling career. For those who don't know Chris Jericho, he is also a musician, runs a band by the name of Fozzy. Oh, yeah, in his spare time, he's also one of the greatest wrestlers alive. He's been doing this in every single promotion across the globe. Any style of wrestling this guy has adapted to, mastered, catered. He's 50. I think he is 50. He's either 49 or 50 right now, still doing it at a very high level. Held the AEW, inaugural AEW championship. They celebrated his career, and he has one of, if not the best career out of any wrestler that has ever graced this surface of this rock that we call Earth. So congratulations to Chris Jericho. We also had on AEW a title change with the Dark Order's the Dark Order's leader, and the returning Cody Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes is now holding the TNT Championship, and I'm not really sure how I feel about that at this particular time. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe he'll help some people, but for now, I'm just mute on it. You know, I'm happy for him. I know he was off in some shows, which is a very good look for AEW. But he ended up getting his belt back. Congratulations to him as well. Tonight on SmackDown, which is going to be on Fox, we have the WWE Draft. There's a lot of predictions on what's going to happen. My guess is they will probably keep Roman Reigns on SmackDown because he has been red hot as of late. They'll probably ship a few people off to Raw. I know AJ Styles may be one of those shippings. He may be going to Raw, and we'll explain why in the next segment. So that is all going to lead us into the dirt on the sheets. Now, being that we had a big week in wrestling, this was a very successful week so far for all of the wrestling shows. TNA Impact had a good show. NXT had a good show. Raw was good with the retribution angle they ran, and they kind of made sense. Not bad. So one of the big things was at NXT 31, where there was a change in the finish to the match between Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly. The reason this happened is because Finn Balor broke his jaw in two places during that match. So he changed the ending to make it make sense with a broken jaw in the ring on the fly. Kudos to you, my man, because I don't know how the hell you did that. Kudos to you. One of the biggest stories to come out of this week, you guys may have seen me post, if you're in the podcast fan group, which I do have a Facebook page. This is a shameless plug. The Wrestling With My Thoughts fan group page. So go join it on Facebook. I put up a link in there where there is an attempt right now, as of right now, from WWE. They have notified their talents that they had 30 days. This is like 2 weeks ago, actually. They had about 30 days to relinquish their Twitch accounts. This also includes YouTube. Pretty much anything's garnering them money other than their WWE paychecks. This will be handed over to the WWE. They had 30 days to give WWE those accounts if they were going to be suspended or terminated from the company. This is very bad for the wrestlers who were using this to supplement their income. This is horrible news for them because WWE is now going to be taking that money that they were making on the side, supplementing their income, because a lot of them were doing appearances, going to conventions. The Comic-Cons were a very big money drawer. I go to them primarily because a lot of wrestlers go to them, and that's my way of interacting with a lot of wrestlers. They did go to a lot of these conventions, and though that was their income outside of WWE. Now that the COVID has put a stranglehold on that income, Twitch and YouTube, places like Up, Down, Down, were very big on YouTube, and a lot of wrestlers, to include the ones that are now in AEW. Miro, when he was there, was Youssef. He was a Twitch streamer. Mia Yim is one of the biggest Twitch streamers out there. Those accounts will have to go to WWE. That is not a good look for WWE. That is the big story of the week. There should be more as we get back to what's going to happen to those wrestlers who don't. My guess is that the more famous you are, or the more you draw money for WWE, the less you'll be penalized for doing these types of things. Question from them: Why do you think they took them? That is a very good question from Mac, aka Boy. Why do you think they took them? The very big reason, if you don't follow, I'll give you a backstory as to why I think this is purely speculation on why I think this is happening. About a month and a half ago, AJ Styles, who's also he does videos on YouTube, and he does do a lot of these streaming events. It's not really to monopolize the wrestlers to their extent. It's kind of to minimize the negative attention that may shed on WWE. For instance, they are in active competition with AEW. Miro, who was a WWE wrestler as Rusev, is now a part of AEW, and he does still interact with a lot of WWE wrestlers. His wife, Lana, is still in WWE. They don't want negative attention based off of that. So another thing, and let me go back to this AJ Styles thing. He did a video about a month and a half ago, and he asked his son was on the video. He asked his son, he was like, so what do you think of the WWE product? And his son very bluntly said, Dad, you know I don't watch WWE, right? Obviously, eyes got back to that. And not too long after that, they notified their talents that they will have 30 days to relinquish all of their accounts to WWE. So it's kind of a punishment, which is why you may see certain things like Lana going through tables. Is primarily because Rusev, who's now Miro, is he actively shat on the WWE when he made his debut. So you see Lana going through tables. You don't see a lot of AJ Styles like you used to. Things like that, little ticky-tack things like that happens in the wrestling business. So it is what it is. So with that being said, let's move on to our next segment. Let's play the pencil. Now, for the guys who don't know the wrestling industry very well, let me explain to you what the pencil is. The pencil is a wrestler or someone behind the scenes who writes the matches and the outcomes to matches. That guy is known as the pencil, or a bookie for modern day terms. He is a bookie. So we are going to play Let's Book an Old School Match. Now, I had an idea in my head that I wanted to rebook a certain match, right? Let's go with Hulk Hogan versus Bill Goldberg for the WCW and World Heavyweight and United States Championship. Now, how would I book this match? Well, I book it the exact same way we might come back to that. That might be for next week. Let me look at that because I haven't heard news on that. But here's a comment from one of our watchers. Heard old boy Del Rio, who is Alberto Del Rio, got indicted. Side note for another video, though. Yeah, we might have to come back to that. But we'll make that part of another discussion. You know, we'll have a discussion about that. We'll definitely have a discussion about that because that guy is loco. He is loco. So anyway, let's go to playing the pencil. So what I would do in a Bill Goldberg, a red hot Bill Goldberg versus the immortal Hulk Hogan for the WCW Heavyweight Championship of the world. The guy was the United States champion, fuming hot, he's undefeated, running through everybody, spear, jackhammer, over, right? Works his way all the way up to Hulk Hogan. What are we going to do? What I am not going to do is put that shit on regular television. That's first and foremost. I am not putting this shit on regular television. It is not going to be on WCW Nitro. It is not. It is absolutely not going to be on WCW Nitro. What I'm going to have it on is a pay per view. Now they did this about 2 weeks after a pay per view, so I would have booked it, let it slow draw out, have him run through the entire NWO. Hell, he was doing it already anyway. All right, build him up, make him massive, make Hogan an even monster heel. That way, by the time this happens, you have everybody hooked in. Granted, the way it worked was great, but it would have worked even better if you'd have drawn it out a little longer and put that bitch on pay per view. WCW would have been a monster. It would have crushed anything WWE would have had at that time because it was awesome. The way that angle was awesome. The only bad thing about it, it was just on network television. You don't do that. You don't do that. And even wrestling people will tell you now, you don't do that. You don't do that. So, with that being said, let's move on to our last segment of the night. We're going to wrap this up. We're going to wrap it up. Now, hip hop and wrestling have a very, very, very close relationship. If you've been listening to Wrestling with My Thoughts, if you were an A1 Day One, I covered this in my second episode ever, right? Rap and wrestling have a very, 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 very tight relationship. Now, this pays dividends in a lot of dividends. This plays dividends in a lot of ways. You have wrestlers such as Ric Flair, who appeared in videos such as Migos. He's put the drip out there, styling and profiling still in 2020. You know what I mean? Doing his thing. You have rappers that go to WWE events. Rick Ross has been spotted. Wale has been spotted. Pretty much anybody. Hell, Master P even climbed in a ring one time. You know what I mean? It was terrible, but he did it. This is how close the relationship is between rap and wrestling. Look no further than Griselda. Griselda dropped an album. Actually, it was West Side Gun. West Side Gun, Who Made the Sunshine, just dropped about a week ago. Go back and look at one of the tracks, and you will know that this is what made me say, okay, these guys are wrestling fans, because he has a track on there with Benny the Butcher, which is an excellent name for this track. It's called The Butcher and the Blade. The Butcher and the Blade is a wrestling group in AEW, a very, very good wrestling group as well. So that song made sense to me the instant I saw the title of it. Go listen to Who Made the Sunshine. It is a very excellent track. It is called The Butcher and the Blade. It is a reference to The Butcher and the Blade, an AEW tag team, which I like what they're doing on Griselda with these names, because West Side Gun and Conway are Hall and Nash, and now you got Benny the Butcher and West Side Gun are Butcher and the Blade. Those are your your wrestling references. I can